Los Rancheros 14 large screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Have you heard about Lashing and Aesthetics by Natalie Mills? They use only professional quality products for all your lash extensions and customized skincare facial needs. Gentle tints for brows and lashes, along with brow laminations, lash lifts, and custom mapping for precise brow waxing. Lashing and Aesthetics by Natalie Mills also does classic lash extensions, hybrid lash extensions, volume lash extensions, lash lifts, and more. For more information, visit them at 1532 Jenks Avenue. Lashing and Aesthetics by Natalie Mills.
What does it take to live an uncommon life? Here's former Super Bowl winning coach Tony Dungy with today's uncommon moment.
Have you ever been jealous of someone? Maybe your coworker got the position you felt you deserved, along with the raise. Maybe your neighbor invited you over to see the new luxury car, or maybe your roommate got the newest iPad and keeps showing off all the cool apps. Here's the thing. Jealous people obsess about the object of jealousy, believing that if they get what someone else has, then they'll be fulfilled. Instead of building others up, jealousy wants to destroy them. The moment jealous thoughts run through your mind, ask God to take them away. Never let jealousy take hold. It always leaves a bitter taste in your mouth.
Tony Dungy, author of the popular Uncommon book series. More at CoachDungy.com. That's CoachDungy.com.
Hurricane Ian will be the most costly natural disaster in modern times for the state of Florida. Many communities have been completely devastated.
Hey y'all, Scotty McCreary here. Those affected by Hurricane Ian, they need our help. So please join me in texting disaster to 20222 or by visiting floridadisasterfund.org to make a donation. Any amount helps, every little bit helps, so please, let's all join in together to help our neighbors in need.
Brought to you by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT, W271DM Mariana, WVLQ Port St. Joe.
You gotta fight!
ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's the next evolution of Sports Talk Radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now, we're taking...
With the first pick.
This is the last ball you got to bat. The Inside Drive. From college to the pros. Interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And good morning. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Just another beautiful day here in the Florida Panhandle. Great to be out there on the water, playing golf, eating at all of our beautiful restaurants, buying new cars, maybe buying a new boat. Hopefully not getting it fixed, but if you need to get it fixed, if you listen to this show, you know where to go because we are sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. Listening live and local on 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 along the Forgotten Coast. And as always, you can see our beautiful faces if you just stream us live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Just search ESPN Northwest Florida. Visit us at ESPNPC.com. Click that Listen Live button. As many people have, make that conversion to the Tiger TV Pro. It's just $15 a month, over 6,000 channels, HBO, Showtime, and much more. And it's ever creeping ever closer to football season. So I know you want to get on that here pretty soon. And I know I'm going to be making a switch at some point because I've been with, not to plug DirecTV, I've been with DirecTV forever, mainly because of NFL Sunday Ticket, because I just love NFL football. Not anymore on DirecTV. So check out Tiger TV Pro. It's just $15 a month. You can also download our free mobile app inside the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. That one you do have to search 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Thursday, it's Kramer Day, but it might as well be Legend Day today. We've got Dr. Glenn Manley, as Coach James Hale always dubs you, in the studio with us today. So I figured I'm just going to let you guys talk stories for the next 2 hours.
Well, there's quite a few.
I'll have to tell you, Chris saved us a little bit when they built Arnold. We went from 1,900 students to 1,000, so we needed some football players, and basically he and Ben McCloy and was it Cook,
Jimmy Cook, Matt Hutt, a bunch of soccer players.
Yeah, so. They got a real taste of what it was like, but they really helped us a lot. I'm sure they enjoyed it. There's a few more bumps and bruises than they were used to, but
I'm sure
they did a great job for us. So
saved may be a strong word. we did
help field the roster.
We played a heck of a season if it were only first halves of every game. By the time the second half rolled around, the whole team, all 22 of us, I think, we were worn out. But it wasn't for lack of effort.
Right.
That was the funnest season I've ever had in sports, and you're playing for your school. Friday Night Lights is different than any other sport, and all the everything that leads up to it, the pep rallies, the tradition, suiting it up. You're going to. I mean, it's right. Contact at that point. And man, it was an awesome experience. I appreciate you coaching, and whether we win, lose, or draw, we had a blast.
We did. The thing was, you got closer and closer. When you'd go to the game, I'd go, okay, who's on the punt team? Same 11. Who's on the kickoff team? Same 11.
Yeah. But didn't have to swap out too much.
Easy to coordinate.
So
pretty easy.
But one of the stories, we went over to we played at Tate in a little bit known to me, they had a howitzer, so every time they scored, they fired that buddy. First time they fired it, Coach Manley's on the ground, and they're all looking at me like, "Oh, he's crazy, he lost his mind." But
you had some action that warranted that.
We finally scored a couple times, and every time we scored, the onside kicked it, and we got it. So I think we made them mad, but the thing was, the one thing positive came out of that game, we made them run out of ammunition. They couldn't fire that thing anymore.
That's the thing about high school football, high school sports. You remember it. I remember the plays. I recovered one of the onside kicks against Enterprise.
Right.
And Enterprise had 100 kids on that team. I think it was the one high school in Coffee County up there.
Yeah.
And it was huge. And there we are, all 20 of us, and they're in their all-white uniforms. It looked like a huge banner. I mean, it was an army over on the other side. But, gosh, that was so much fun.
And they're still the only high school there. We played them again, and you go up there, and it's like an NFL stadium. It's unbelievable. In their weight room, locker room, all that goes. It's unbelievable.
Because y'all played Enterprise the start of this last season.
That's correct.
Right?
That's one of our losses. And the thing is, they have 10 through 12. They have about 2,700 students.
Whew.
They have a ninth grade kind of thing, which has 1,100 students.
Man, yeah.
So
a lot of athletes to pull from. That's for sure.
You got a heck of a pool of applicants.
Well, and you mentioned high school sports because most people, that's usually their last time playing competitive sports because, the majority of people don't go on to play college or whatever it may be. So, yeah, those memories definitely run deep. I can think of a lot of moments I didn't play football, ironically, because my mom did not want me to get hurt playing football.
Right there with
you played.
Well, I played ice hocky for, God. So I ended up with 3 concussions, tore up my knee my senior year.
You
so,
showed her.
Yeah, that really made a lot of sense. Blacked out on the ice a couple times, got right back up. But yeah, you don't forget those moments, and that's what's so awesome about high school sports.
Here's the thing, though. I can even go back now. I graduated from high school almost 57 years ago. That's how old I am. But I can go back to certain games where you're standing there and you're in the huddle and you're looking at each other, and this has to be done whether you be on offense or defense.
Yeah.
And so you never forget those moments or those guys.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what they turn out in the future. Every time you meet, you start talking about stuff, and and so I actually, believe it or not, I used to be pretty fast, and I was in the secondary at about 5'4". But so when they threw the pass, they couldn't see me, so I picked off quite a few. But I got one time we were beating some team really bad, so I kind of got lax, and they threw one over my head for a touchdown. So every time we go to meet, they go, "Remember that time Central threw that ball over you?" I'm like, what about the time?
Yeah, what about all the other times I picked it off? Yeah, it's funny how that works.
When your nickname is Munchkin, it's kind of hard to worry about whether you're going to be called short or not.
Yeah, you just got to roll with it.
Yeah, you do.
Sure. For sure, yeah. And it's funny, we just hired Bill. I don't know if you've met Bill yet. He's our new assistant golf professional. And he was on the show with us Monday and Tuesday days. He was off from work, but I hadn't talked to Bill in probably, I think, 17 years. We went to Coastal Carolina together, and he was out in California, and he was making this big life change, and he happened to remember my phone number from in college because he always had to remember one person's phone number in case you ever went to the clink. You had to be able to get out.
That was before cell phones.
Oh, yeah. You really had to remember. And he saw our assistant golf professional post on LinkedIn, and he called me, and now he's working with us. But it's funny, like, as soon as we kind of got back together, you went right back to all those moments. Oh, you remember this, you remember that. And you kind of forget about them, but when you get around those people, they come right back.
Yeah, well, Coach Moon and I coached together for about 35 years.
Yeah.
And so we went through 7 head coaches. So every time somebody had to come on and they start doing stuff, we look each other and go, I ain't going to work. So, but you do what they ask you to do, and then they come around and go, hey, But
were all 30 of those at Bay?
Huh? No. We've coached. I coached golf, and he helped me. Now he's coached golf, and I helped him. But we started out together in 1985 at Bay, and so we went through. I left Bay in 2011. So,
but from 85 to 11, you were at Bay.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know
so then I went to Bozeman for a year and a half. Then I ended up going to Cherry Street Elementary as assistant principal. I finally was taller than a lot of people, but there were still some bigger than I.
Oh, yeah.
But, it was great.
These elementary kids.
But I enjoyed, everywhere I was at. So, but mainly Bay High School, I just, just so many memories there. And I got to start there. Mr. Goodwin was nice enough to hire me, and so I went through with Coach Deaton and those guys, and gosh, Coach Lawson and Frank Feuder, and golly. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, you guys quite a run.
Gary Terrell, the track's named after him. He was a great guy. I had in my office, I had the plaque of the state championship team. So it was lost at one time. We found it down in one of the little storage rooms in the gym. So I brought that baby up. It's in my office. So,
What year was that? I know you guys.
76 when they won the state championship. Only Bay County team to win state championship in football.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Hopefully we
were close. We were close in '93, but
Well, and Rutherford's come close.
Rutherford comes close twice.
I thought they had won one, but yeah.
Now, did Coach Hale come close that one year?
He got in the playoffs several years, but I don't know if he went through. I tell you what he did though. One time they went out there and beat Wakulla, which they really did a good job. And that's when Wakulla had the linebacker that went to FSU.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, so they did a good job. So. There's been a lot of teams. 83 team from Mosley, I think, went really close. They played in the state championship game. I thought the Mosley team with 21 was going to do.
Yeah, they came super close.
Yeah, when you come that close. But what gets me is there's some of these schools that they have. They don't recruit. They procure certain athletes and you end up playing them. And it's just. I don't know, especially not the charter schools right around here, but I know some charter schools and private schools that they can somehow come up with the Venezuelan national team or whatever soccer you're playing, or stuff like that.
Yeah, when I was growing up in New Jersey, obviously I played ice hockey, but there was this one school that was on the shore. We were in Northwest Jersey, so we were kind of out in the country. But there was this one school called Brick High School. It was in Brick Township. It was a public school. It wasn't private. Now, hockey, you had private and public playing together all the time, but they got busted for keeping kids in people's basements inside the township. And I remember the one game. I mean, I was small. I didn't really grow until my late senior year in high school. So I played center, and I was probably 150 pounds, 5'8", and we went down to a Brick one year in an exhibition game, and I don't remember a whole lot of that game. I just remember eating a lot of glass and trying not to get killed. That's for sure. But it's funny how high school sports, a lot of that stuff works. But as mentioned, we are sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. Chris, I've seen a lot of cool videos coming out on social media, but what all you guys got going down at both the dealership and Kramer Marine and Outdoor?
Well, we talked a little bit last week about it. We've got inventory coming in on the car and boat side, but the new heavy duty 2024 heavy duty is coming in. They're moving out as fast as we get them. We've got Silverados at $9,250 off.
Whew.
Which you have to think back a few years before we you can find a discount like that.
Yeah.
But that puts a truck. We've got a 4-wheel drive crew cab pickup truck for $42,800.
Phew. Yeah, you can't beat that. You can
not bad.
Use that for a couple years, then probably turn around and make a profit on that.
Yeah. So we got a great selection. General Motors is the only family of trucks that is completely redesigned right now.
Gotcha.
From top to bottom, the small, there's a new Colorado Canyon they've done a really good job, real impressive. A little bit taller stature, body sides are expanded. It's got a great look. And the Silverado's redesigned, mostly interior redesign. It's got a brand new infotainment screen, and then the HD is all new inside. Mostly you'll find the interior refinements. Got a lot of Buicks on the ground. Selling those puppies.
Nice.
It's not your grandfather's. I didn't mean to look at you.
He looked right at you when he said that.
Hey, I'm there, buddy.
He only had one option.
Yeah.
Probably not. Yeah.
It's not Coach Manley's Buick we're talking about.
Yes, yeah. That's a great point. Yeah, kind of that brand recognition with Buick. It's certainly not that by any stretch of the imagination.
No, and we've got them on the ground ready for delivery. And on the boat side, it's people are thinking about getting on the water right now.
Oh yeah,
and we can tell we're getting a lot of folks calling for service. We're Yamaha. We have a master Yamaha mechanic on site. Several mechanics that have a lot of experience can help diagnose any problem that you've got. We have a warehouse full of parts. We're Suzuki outboard, and we've got Seabourn, Spider, and Sundance skiffs. And this month, we will have our first Skeeter boats, which is a Yamaha company. But Skeeter's been around a long time, very recognizable in the bass boat world. But these are bay boats that we're getting in.
That's awesome.
So it's a big month. June's a big month all around. Y'all come on down and see us or give us a call.
Yeah, and you can check out that new and used boat inventory at KramerMarineandOutdoor.com, right down there at 2251 West 23rd Street. Those skiffs, eventually I'll probably be talking to you at some point down the road because we need something that can sit in a foot or two of water to get out from our little bay or bayou that we'll eventually be in, that we are certainly excited about. Why don't you give us a recap too? Is it completely over? Are all the Sudeth games over for all the divisions? And
unfortunately,
gotcha.
Both teams took the loss Tuesday night, but the 8U and 10U, of course, 12U.
Yeah, they won
the week before. First season back, playing against other district teams, all-stars. This 12U team, we only had one 12U, so it was that 12U team that went and played the all-stars from the other leagues and won the district championship for Sudeth. Back in the saddle after about 2 decades of no baseball down in the Cove.
First season back.
First season, and the coach that coached it was one of my teammates on a Sudeth team.
That's awesome.
Growing up, and when he caught wind that Sudeth was coming back, he was one of the first to reach out and say, "Hey, I want to coach." And some of the kids on that team had never even played baseball before, or even maybe just one season. But 12U took the district championship. We got a proud banner displayed, and 10U and 8U played the next Tuesday. 10U up in Southport against Southport. 8U, our kids, and man, I tell you, we could probably talk forever about how your child performed that game.
I mentioned it yesterday a little bit. He was amped up. I told him, I said, you just live for these moments, and he's like,
I'm gonna brag on him because I don't know if as a dad you can quite.
Yeah, you don't want to sound
too braggadocious about it. But he's out there, never played before, right?
Now his first season playing.
So he's gone through the season now, but. Obviously a heck of an athlete, but he's playing the pitching position, which he's not actually pitching. It's a machine, but they make him wear the face mask, which is for good reason.
Which actually, thank goodness he wore that.
But still got a black eye.
Yeah,
right?
He was actually wanting it to be worse. Yeah, he's like, I wish it would be more black and blue.
He took one right to the chops and shrugged it off, and let's keep playing.
Yep.
But a ball, and my son was playing. Sawyer was playing second base.
Yep.
And the kid hits one kind of an awkward pop up. It wasn't a fly because I think it hit the ground.
Yeah, it was
a chopper, and it hit kind of awkwardly, but popped up high enough where Liam is running, but he's kind of having to run sideways backwards off the mound and lays down on his back, jumps on his back, and catches this ball. And from his back, throws it to my son on second base for the force out on second base.
That was pretty exciting. That's for sure.
I mean, he's 8 years old, and you're yelling at him from the sidelines, plays at second. They're not acknowledging what you said, but plays at second. And then all of a sudden, he knows what to do exactly in that moment. That was, plus, on top of that, he had a 3-run home run.
He did have a good game
before
That's
that.
for sure. That's for sure.
But they took the loss. It was tough, though. You know, they were up, they were close. And then the other team, their bats came alive. Couple errant throws, and
I'm still bitter about the 15-minute delay on the slide, and I think that kind of hurt us a little bit, making the game a little shorter. But
I'll tell you,
it is what it is.
I'll tell you what I've seen. Now, granted, I'm getting back into kids' sports. I haven't been removed for a while, but now I've got 3 that are all playing, and my oldest is 10 and 8, and then soon to be 6, but. Watching the umpires, and most of those guys, a lot of them are volunteers. A lot of them travel a good ways to be there, and they're not. If they are paid, it's not a huge sum, and there a lot is asked of them. You got a lot of parents on the sidelines. They can get pretty heated, but the thing that I've seen the most, they need 2 at every game, because they need to be able to talk to each other, and if something is happening, they can confer, and it's better handled with 2. But you make the call, stick with it. Just listen. You made that call, and both coaches, parents, everybody needs to live with it. It could be the wrong call, but make the call. Stick with it. Now, if you want to confer with the other umpire, and maybe you had some differing line of sight, or somebody knew the rules a little different or better than the other, then you might want to consider changing the call. But if it's just you out there, you need to make the call, and you need to stand with it.
And I thought they did a good job.
And then everybody needs to be
because they made the call. Then we had 2 more batters, and I think it's then when the other coaches kind of were starting to question it after the fact. But I think they did a great job handling everything. But
they needed somebody. I call high school and junior college basketball, and I've called fast pitch and slow pitch softball. The ones that are yelling and screaming, they need to get out there and see what's going on, because it's not just, hey, I can see it from over here. There's a lot of things that go on in between there, and so again, what you said, they need to live with it, because it's not like you're sending people out to die. They're all coming back.
You see some of the banners at some of these youth places. No one's getting a college scholarship today. That's for sure. But
and right or wrong, we had so that call that was in our favor.
Liam slid head first on that home run, and to be honest, I've never talked to him about that. I had no idea if you could even do that or not. So
he was having fun. He didn't even need to slide, but he's having fun on a home run.
Covered in chalk all on his face and all that.
But another batter had come up and played through, and then another, that was brought up that, you can't slide head first, but the play had progressed, the game had progressed, and you got to live with that. A couple weeks before that, the 10U Seminoles, I'm going to live with the wrong call. But at the end of it, after 10 minutes of going back and forth, I went to the ump and I said, hey, what's your call? And he said, this is the call. I said, okay, all right. You're out. Let's go. We're going back in. That more or less ended our regular season, but you got to just, let's move on.
But see, you understand you understand the other side of it, so
but it's also a life lesson to the kids. Sometimes it just doesn't go your way.
That 100%.
Happens as you get older, so if they get caught where that's okay, he didn't know what he was doing, or you can't call them, because guess what? Down the line somewhere, it's going to happen, and so you need to learn how to, go on with that and suck it up and, go for it.
Nobody ever said life was fair.
No.
That's right. I've always wished I was a 6'5" power forward. That ain't happening.
You can't change it. You got to live with it. But I tell kids all the time, especially on football, I said, once he makes the call, I said, shut up. That's it. We got to move on, move to the next play, whatever it's going to be, because that could ruin your chances of winning a game. It's just like golf. You hit a bad shot, you got to move on. But
because you can't live with that shot, or you can't live with that play. You got it keeps going. You keep harping on this.
That's
why I have to sometimes get on younger coaches. All right, get off of that, because you're affecting what they're hearing and what they're doing. So
100%. We do have a break that we've got to jump into here real quick. You are listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Got Mr. Chris Kramer and Coach Dr. Glenn Manley in studio with us today. Saturday. So at some point, we're going to talk a little bit about PGA Tour Live Golf and get some opinions here in studio as we've been talking about it for the last 2 days, as it's one of the larger stories in sports right now. You're listening to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
Here comes the Thunder.
The weather is heating up, and so are the Braves.
And the Braves take the lead in the ninth.
Tonight, Atlanta versus New York. With Olsen, Strider, Ozzie, and Acuna. The Braves lineup will be loaded for Game 3. Coverage starts at 6. First pitch at 6:20. On your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Thursday. Mostly sunny this afternoon and evening with a moderate breeze out of the west-southwest around 13 miles per hour and temps near 84. We will have mostly clear skies tonight and be warm at 76. And mostly sunny throughout the day with possible thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening tomorrow and a high 85. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Love him.
You're gonna love this. You are my favorite. It's my favorite.
Everybody's favorite. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You are listening to Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios, listening live and local on 104.3 in Panama City, 101.9 along the Forgotten Coast, and of course on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. ESPN is also available in the Google Play and Apple App Stores, and you could also visit ESPNPC.com. A couple quick things about Bay Point before we jump right back into it. We will be launching our Father's Day sale starting Monday. It's going to be another awesome sale. We did our Memorial Day weekend sale. That was a huge, big win for everybody. You spend $200 in the golf shop, you get a free round of golf. So for Dad, we can give all the merchandise to Dad and the free round of golf. Give the merchandise to yourself, give Dad the free round of golf, or keep both yourself and then buy another one, and it just keeps going. So huge opportunity. It's going to make shopping for Dad really easy out there. You could buy a gift certificate to the golf shop as well. That would count into that $200.
I was wearing a Bay Point shirt yesterday. Gosh, it was comfortable.
Yeah, we got some great stuff in there right there. Great stuff in there right now. Johnny O, Travis Matthew, Levelware. We've even got some Billfish swag in there. Just got some more coming in, which is coming up in less than 20 days, which is pretty crazy. We do have some modified hours of operation this weekend. We have a huge wedding going on Saturday. But tomorrow, Bar 72 will be closing at 3 p.m. Saturday, the golf course, actually our last tee time is available at 11:30. The golf shop will be closing at 3 p.m. Bar 72 will be officially closed at 1 p.m. We will have drinks available for purchase in Bar 72 up until then. The beverage carts will also be running out there on the course as well. And then Sunday, we will be not having any breakfast service, but we'll be back to our normal lunch operations at 11 o'clock.
Are we all invited to the wedding?
Did you get one in the mail? You could probably crash.
It's probably it's soon to be there.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a late edition.
Check the post office box.
Should be it's going to be a big one. So we're looking forward to it. The staff's getting ready. It's going to be a good time out there. So we're looking forward to that. And then also next Thursday, As I mentioned yesterday on the show, we've partnered with Course Scout, who's a relatively new company that does scorecards for golf courses. And what they do is they come out, he shot a bunch of cool drone videos, got some pictures, and they actually produce our scorecards for us. And the scorecard has a QR code on it that you scan, and it'll take you to a drone flyover of every hole, course statistics, social links, all that stuff. But what they do is they have a little tiny bit of advertising on those drone videos. So next Thursday, we're doing a new scorecard release party that's open for private businesses. If they want to come out, you just go to our Facebook page. You can scan that QR code on the flyer. It's going to have complimentary food and drink. I'm going to talk about Course Scout and what it all entails, but a great advertising opportunity for some local businesses if they want to come out and check that out, as we do about 40 to 45,000 rounds of golf every year. So each group that goes out gets a scorecard. So, and people love to scan QR codes and check out those drone videos. So just want to let everybody know about that. It is our new scorecard release party. We talked about Fred Biondi last week with your brother-in-law, and today is his first professional golf tournament, playing on the Korn Ferry Tour up there at the BMW Charity Pro-Am Classic, which is an awesome event up there in South Carolina. It's played on 2 golf courses. It's played on Thornblade, but it's also played on Carolina Country Club, and he's currently 5 under on his round. He's currently tied for 9th through 14 holes. So off to a heck of a start.
He said burn the ships. I'm all in.
He said, I'm not worried about this Augusta National Amateur Invitation. I'm going to go hit the Korn Ferry Tour and go hard and see. Yeah, he shot 31 on his front 9. Looks like he made 5 pars and 4 birdies, and then he's made 4 pars on the back 9 and 1 birdie. So he's on his 15th hole, 2 par 5s back-to-back at the Thornblade Club on that back 9. So just thought that, with all the talk about Fred and Florida winning the national championship and him winning the individual national championship, I know he sent the picture of him back down there working. So
we're going to try like heck to get him on the radio.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
That would be absolutely
So my
fantastic.
brother-in-law coached him from 12 till now when he came over from Brazil, so he's got to know him, and he shed a lot of cool information and backstory on his development and what kind of guy he is last week. That's awesome for him. But gosh, what a decision. And then to make the decision and then just go light it up.
Well, yeah, I mean, and he was playing in the national championship 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
So I think probably a smart decision, but just goes to show you how good these guys really are, guys and gals really are. We talked earlier this week, but I don't know if you know Rose Zhang. She was the Stanford lady golfer. She won like almost every tournament she played in this past season for Stanford, including the individual national championship. And she won back-to-back individual national championships. She turned pro and then goes and wins her first LPGA Tour event, which is pretty incredible, which just goes to show you that highest level of college golf, both men and women's, the competition and the difficulty is right up there with the top tours in golf.
Yeah, how close are the women? Are they like half of what the men win when they win a tournament?
Oh, I think it's probably a lot less than that.
Yeah, here's the thing that I appreciate more about the golf part of the women is that they're just as skilled. I mean, they're not as strong, obviously, but they can hit it a long way from where they're supposed to hit. But the attendance, it looks like the attendance is pretty good. I don't know why the purses don't go up a little bit now. I know like the WNBA, the NBA is kind of funding that league because not a whole lot of people show up. But this is a whole different skill set to me. It doesn't matter the size or anything. It's the way you hit the ball and the way you play. I just think those should be a little bit closer because, again, it's like the top 100 men golfers, in the world and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I just think it's tougher there than it is to be in some of those other sports.
Yeah.
Are we going down? Are we going for golf?
We're literally about to pivot because I was going to mention sponsorships, and that's really the big thing with the LPGA Tour is why the purses are so much smaller. The purse for a tournament on the LPGA, $1.5 million total for the purse, whereas the guys in these elevated events now that's all about to completely change.
Yes.
$3.6 million for a first place
I'm
prize.
looking for full contact golf out there because some of them are a little upset with each other. So.
Yeah. So let's pivot. Let's keep talking about golf. We've been talking golf heavy this week for sure with that big announcement with the merger between not only the LIV Tour and the PGA Tour, but also the DP World Tour as well. So
have we learned any specifics on the actual new entity that was created?
So the new entity is that LLC. It's the PIF is now in charge of the entity, and supposedly the PGA Tour is, Jim Monahan is like the CEO of this whole thing, and then everything falls in under there. We do have a caller on the line. Rob, are you out there today?
Hi. Hello.
Hey, can you hear us?
Hey, this is Rob. Hey, how are y'all doing?
Good, Rob. Good. How are you? What do you got
I'm
for
all
us?
right. I was just going to comment on Coach Manley's thing about the ladies PGA and the men, which, yeah, they do have the crowds and stuff, but, the revenue on the ads and the publicity and the television is where I think a lot of the revenue comes from, and a lot of that stuff. And the problem is that they only put on TV one or two of the women's PGA Tour events, maybe even a month or every couple months that they have them on there. They'll do the U.S. Open for them and all that sort of stuff, but it just doesn't get the revenue.
Well, a lot of times.
Women,
go ahead. I was going to say, a lot of times they'll put the coverage on after the tournament's over. It'll be on the Golf Channel from 8 to 10 at night, where you're competing with all the other primetime stuff.
Correct. And it's just like, with the women's basketball, when they were sitting there saying, oh, we've made it big, we're showing it prime time and everything else. But the problem is the viewership for the playoffs for the WNBA was $900,000 on the night of their championship game. 900,000 viewers, when you're talking about with the regular viewership, you're talking about 8 to 10 million viewers. That's a big difference in revenue and what people will pay for commercials.
Yeah, I think that more people in China watch the NBA than the WNBA, so that's probably what it is.
Exactly,
34 minutes into the show. That was if you had the over, you would have won on that one.
Right. Well, and even in the soccer league, when they played for a couple of championships, they're the finals and the semifinals. Yes, they have a lot of people watching it, but nobody's watching it. And the men's, nobody watches the men's either because they're not good, but they're a member of the World Soccer League. And when we think, we've got 50 to 105,000. What's the biggest college basketball stadium? 108,000 people.
That'd be
at a soccer match. At a soccer match in Spain, they'll have 200,000 people.
I know they're killing each other. So we don't even
right, exactly. But what I'm saying is that when they start talking about the purses and everything else, it's just not the revenue for the commercials is what sells it. That's why the Super Bowl costs, what is it? It's $2 or $3 million for a 30-second ad.
Well, that's what the PGA Tour, the nonprofit entity, the PGA Tour is putting in to that new entity is the TV rights.
Oh yeah,
and then the PIF is putting in a lot of money, and the Live Tour.
And I will say this is that I think that the PGA, the leadership of that has been skimming off of the top forever. I mean, it's just like when the Masters had that situation where they had a bunch of sponsors going boycott them. They said, okay, we'll just do without commercials, So, I mean, there's so much money that they were doing, and Phil Mickelson, I like watching Phil over the years and stuff. He is great. You can't say he looked out for the younger guys that are coming up now that really don't understand what he put his neck out there on the chopping block for.
Well, and Phil, to jump right into this stuff, Phil, basically everything Phil was preaching and talking about and doing, and all the crap he took for especially the last 3 or 4 years, all that basically came to fruition. Everything he said that was happening and everything that he said was going to happen has happened.
Has happened, and he was right. He was exactly right. And very few people are out here now saying, well, you know what, somebody needs to apologize to Phil and all that sort of stuff.
Happen.
They're not going to do that.
No, absolutely not.
And I feel sorry for what's going to happen. Rory is the one that really should be the one that's jumping up and down, but obviously somebody told him behind the scenes that don't worry about it, you're going to be taken care of.
Well, that's not the way he said it, but
well, right.
Yeah, I've got a list of some great Rory quotes from his press conference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But it's I'm glad to see that. And you said something the other day, Ron, about the viewership on the Live channel, on the Live Golf was down or what? Never made it up.
It just wasn't good, yeah.
Well, to me, it really wasn't ever on a major network, for one. And two, it was confusing to watch. Did you ever sit down and really try and watch it?
I streamed it a couple times. It definitely, because it was very different than regular golf, that's for sure. The one thing I did like about it was that when you had the team competition part of it, that's when so many shots mattered versus, a stroke play individual event. If it's two guys are going down to the wire and there's not a ton of people in the mix. But on the team aspect, I did think that was kind of cool because even guys that weren't in the mix to win the tournament could make a difference whether their team wins the tournament or not.
Oh, no doubt. I like the aspect of them being teams and all that, but the way when I'm sitting here, I'm trying to watch Koepka play and have a shot, and you've got all this stuff, and it's changing over there on the side and everything else, and the betting numbers and teams and who's where what. I like it when it's so much simpler when you have a Pro-Am where they'll list, the top regular golfers, then they've got their teams and how they are, and throwing it up. But
yeah,
it is. It's just really, to me, as just a average watcher and just like to watch the golf shots and the putts and all that, to try and watch the Live was just, too much work to sit there and relax on a Sunday afternoon to watch that. I have to turn it to something else.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Live was never, seeing what's happened now and knowing, doing a little research about Jimmy Dunn and all the things he had kind of going on behind the scenes. I don't think Live was ever designed to maintain or compete against the PGA Tour. I think Live was designed to take the first step in creating this world golf, basically a new world order in golf, which is what Greg Norman's always wanted. And I don't know how much he's going to be involved, if any, because the Live Tour is still technically around. But when this all goes into one, so many questions. What's the format going to look like? Are they playing multiple tournaments at one time all around the world? Yada, yada, yada. But if you get a chance to do some research, look up Jimmy Dunn. I'm going to talk about him a little bit later on, but I've had some people reach out to me that are kind of inside the golf world, and he really had a big piece in this, getting this thing going. And if Monahan goes away, he could be the new tour commissioner. But the PGA Tour is now the governing body on this. The PIF is obviously the financial backing. But Rob, we do have a break coming up. We're going to continue talking about this a little bit, but appreciate you giving us a shout.
One quick thing, go and look and see what all the congressmen and everybody are saying now about there being a monopoly, and they're going to have to investigate all this. And I'll let y'all go to break. All right, man. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Rob. Thanks, Rob. We are sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. Don't forget, you've got another game tonight, as we are the home for the Atlanta Braves here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Braves are looking to make that sweep. They won the first game on Tuesday 6-4. Last night they won 7-5. And coverage starts right after the afternoon underdog, 6 p.m. First pitch is at 6:20. AG, you may have a little bit more to talk about tomorrow there, David. What's the name again?
Ellie De La Cruz.
De La Cruz hitting a bomb yesterday, 458, and then throwing his bat and almost hitting the other guy. Surprised he didn't get a warning for that. But and the other base he hit was a triple, right? So 2 for 4 last night. Guys off to a hot start. AG called in. I want to say it was on Tuesday at the end of the show, and just saying that was the biggest story in sports at the moment. But I had to beg to differ with the PGA Live coming up. But when we get back, I want to get everybody's opinion. We'll jump into this PGA Live Tour a little bit more. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The tradition continues.
That ball is going to be out of here.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
Bombs away.
The Atlanta Braves are back and making a statement.
At first slide, 2 RBI triple.
Listen to Atlanta Braves baseball in a rich audio experience live on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Here comes the thunder.
Sponsored by Bestway Portable Buildings, Dave & Buster's, PCB Hobby, and Gulf Coast Aquarium.
I have some great gift ideas for you here at Tracy's Fine Jewelry inside Coin and Bullion Reserves. We have a large selection of 14-karat charms starting at just $19.95. Engrave a personal message and add a special coin for your dad's birth year on a money clip or keychain. And a beautiful designer Bulova watch is a perfect gift that will be treasured forever. Always a perfect gift for any occasion. From Tracy's Fine Jewelry inside Coin and Bullion Reserves, where our reputation shines as brightly as our diamonds.
At Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, you can find all the necessary items for an unforgettable fishing experience. From pin rods and reels to the best hand-tied rigs in Florida, we have it all. With the help of our friendly and knowledgeable staff, you can be sure that you have the right gear to make that big catch. Come experience a great local bait and tackle shop located directly off 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach, located just 5 miles west of Pier Park.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Starting fresh.
Fresh new start.
Locally sourced, Farm to Radio. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is live and local. From the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, sitting inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. Talking about the PGA Tour and Live, we were talking about off the break and just how this is really, like you said, Chris, so much stuff to unpack and how did it even come to be? And
we're going down rabbit holes.
Oh, it's the only thing you can do in this thing is definitely going down these multiple rabbit holes. But I think it all kind of started. I mentioned it earlier in the show that Phil Mickelson, a lot of these guys didn't think that the pros, they're in professional sports, your people, so to speak, are the ones moving the needle. But they didn't think they were getting their fair share as the PGA Tour, as a non-profit making hundreds of $1 million every year and not paying federal taxes on them. Live Tour kind of, I think, was created to combat that a little bit. They brought all the big money, the PIF, created the Live. Greg Norman kind of helped get that going. Big time money paid to these guys, huge purses. I don't think it was a threat to the success of the PGA Tour, but it created the controversy and the lawsuits. And the PGA Tour was also, not doing really great. They created all these elevated events after the Live was formed. Well, when you created these elevated events, it put more of a premium on those events than all the other tour events that they were playing, where the sponsorship dollar is still what makes everything happen. So you were starting to see some sponsors back out because the elevated events were kind of taking the big name guys. And, we talked earlier this year about Rory, not playing in a couple of those elevated events and things like that. And then flash forward, here we are with Jimmy Dunn and the PIF working behind the scenes on getting this deal potentially done, and then boom, there it happens. And anytime the Saudis are involved, the political, it's obviously political because of everything that the PGA Tour kind of made it political. I forget who we talked to yesterday that particularly said that, but that happens. Live Tour, PGA Tour, DP World Tour, which I think the DP World Tour is one of a huge benefit after this one because nobody even really paid attention to that tour. They weren't getting big guys. The purses were a lot smaller. But yeah, what does it mean for golf going forward? So
a lot more money.
Yeah.
I think that's the one thing you could point to is a lot more money. It'd be great to see down the line more people make more money that are playing. Heck, you go back to the PGA Professionals tournament that was really hard to get to, and the number one was I think 50,000, and that's a lot of money. But for the kind of money it takes to actually go to an event, you go down the line, you don't have to go too far to where you'll go into the negative playing in these tournaments and the travel and everything that goes into actually playing as a player.
Yeah, I think you're going to see some of these purses that were $25 million, could potentially be $125 million. Or, like Scott Rossman said earlier this week, is everybody who plays in the events just going to get money to show up? There's so many questions on what it's going to look like. But as of now, what we know, the PGA Tour is still the governing body, and everything falls under that PGA Tour. The LIV guys are still under contract with the LIV Tour, and I think that all has to play out. And, just because it's merged, the LIV guys aren't back on the PGA Tour. You read all this different stuff trying to figure out what's actually going on. So the Ryder Cup thing's still up in the air because, they're not qualifying with the events they're playing for, even though Brooks Koepka is currently qualified based on the 2 events he played in with the Ryder Cup ranking. So there's just so many questions, but I'll pose it to each one of you. Do you think this is good for the game of golf as a whole, and especially on the green grass side, or do you think it's bad for the game of golf? Coach Manley, I'll let you go first.
Ooh. I think sometimes it was started because remember how they started the AFL and the NFL to merge. I think it may draw more attention to help people start playing golf, I think. As far as the money, I guess you can always, how much money can I make doing this with this skill? So I think in the long run, if they get all the stuff hammered out, I think it will be beneficial to most of those people.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think, Chris?
I think you got to ask yourself first, what is the game of golf?
Yeah.
I listened to Colin Cowherd, and he asked that same question, but it's, what is it? As an outsider looking in, you think it's a bunch of people that are on the same page playing the same tournaments, and it's just not really the case. The major tournaments are governed completely different. The tour itself is its own entity, and then you've got a disruptor who's come out in LIV. It's got their own tournaments and their own rules. So I mean, it's an enigma wrapped inside an enigma. And what is it really? When I see it, something I love about the game. I mean, the best tournament in my eyes is the Masters, and that seems to be the most pure form of the game. It's the tradition of it, and I don't think throwing a bunch more money at it is going to change the Masters.
Right.
I don't think it's going to change the PGA Championship. I don't think it's going to change the U.S. Open or the British Open, the Open. But I think it will be good for the players in forms of money. I think there'll be a lot more money up and down the line available. I think there'll be a lot more interest, and there's certainly already a lot more attention. So if you had to, and it's like 2 people that don't like each other decide they want to go into business together, and no one really knows how that new entity is going to shake out. And you can't imagine these conversations are going to be very straightforward. I mean, they're probably both looking at it, how do I protect myself from each other? But it's a strange marriage, to say the least. But I think from a money standpoint, it'll be good for the game. From the traditional
that's out the window.
Standpoint, the traditions are, they're kind of, except for the majors.
Yeah, and luckily you got the majors, and I'm sure there'll still be the Bay Hill Invitationals and the Memorial and the, over there at, I think it's called the RBC Heritage over there at Harbor Town, which is a great event. But and then my mind starts spinning, okay, well, how does making it to this new tour I think it's always going to be called the PGA Tour, but how are you going to get on the tour as someone who's trying to make it in professional golf, like a Fred Biondi, who's now on the Korn Ferry Tour, and if can finish this season pretty good and maybe end up like Chase Seifert. He's having a great year back on the Korn Ferry Tour because he wasn't able to keep his PGA Tour card, so he's back down on the Korn Ferry Tour, but right now he's 15th in the top 25. So if he finishes out that season, if everything stays the same, he's going to earn his tour card for the next year, and who knows what the next year looks like with purses, and you're going to get paid if you don't make the cut. So I think if you're in that scenario and you're one of those guys, you're probably pretty dang excited because there might be, it might just not be the best of the best, the elite that are making this serious crazy money because of what could happen to these purses and how the different events look like and where they are and what it may be. But for the kid that's in high school golf right now that's, trying to get a Division I scholarship playing in AJGA events, what's that going to look like trying to make whatever this tour and events and all that stuff looks like down the road?
So think about the amateur side of that.
Yeah.
NIL I believe that it applies across all sports.
All sports,
except if you're an international player. I did learn that from Coach Amy Bond.
Okay.
She said she's got a lot of international players, and they weren't eligible for NIL stuff.
Interesting.
Which golf's really one of the, probably tennis too, but one of the few sports where you have a lot of international influence. Soccer as well,
right?
For
but
sure.
That kind of money has the potential to affect every sport, or golf when we're talking about, all the way down into the amateur ranks and down into college in the same way that it affects football, same way that it affects basketball.
How long before they go to NIL with high school?
Yeah.
I mean, it filters down.
Next up.
Next year.
So,
Look, for real, they have a new high school league coming out, PSL. So yeah, it's right around the corner, and it's dangerous.
Yes, it's changing rapidly. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's why I'm retiring for the second time. But let me tell you this: never say never. I said
there may be an NIL for athletic directors.
Yes.
That might draw me back in.
Get some of that PIF money here and make some stuff happen. Yeah, that'd be sure. I mean, it's wild what's going to transpire, and you feel for some of these guys that put their heads out on the line, that dug that line in the sand along with the PGA Tour, and that's probably, you've got both sides of it. And the biggest thing you see is how mad are these PGA Tour guys that were offered this money but didn't take it, and now here of a sudden you've got the huge merger with PIF. But I don't know that, like I said, the PGA Tour was kind of not on it. It was declining. There's no doubt, and the LIV had a big factor with that, losing some of these big name guys. But I just want to read some of these quotes from Rory from, I believe this was his press conference yesterday afternoon. He said, "This is one of the ones everybody said. I still hate LIV. I hate them. I hope it goes away and expect it does. Correcting everyone who conflates LIV and the PIF, because two separate things. The PIF is obviously the public fund, the Saudi public fund, and the LIV Tour was its own tour." And then he also went on to say, "Rory, on the Saudi money, I've come to terms with it. I've resigned myself to this is what's going to happen. It's very hard to keep up with the people who have more money than anyone else." Kind of changing his tune a little bit. But then he also said, "It was hard for me not to sit up here and feel somewhat like the sacrificial lamb," which he had a great point on that one. "When I try to remove myself from the situation and I look at the bigger picture, I think it is ultimately going to be good for the game of professional golf. It unifies us and secures its future. All the headlines where PGA Tour merges LIV. LIV has got nothing to do with this." He's making that very clear. "Do you still have confidence in Jay Monahan as the commissioner of the PGA Tour?" He took a deep breath and said that he did. Technically, everyone involved with LIV would now have to answer to Jay, whether you like it or not. The PIF, we're going to keep spending in golf. At least now you can control how that money is spent. I don't know if I agree with that one. And then Rory is better at explaining Jay Monahan's deal than Jay Monahan is. But
you know who I think right now is smelling like an absolute rose in all of this? It's Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He predicted it.
Literally.
He owns golf courses who are now, they're going to be playing big events there.
Oh, yeah.
And otherwise, if he was dealing with the PGA Tour, I think he'd have a hard time getting in with the same group. But he's a businessman.
Right.
And it's winning to him, number one. And he called it, and he courted the PIF and the LIV Tour, and he's going to come out. His business entities, the golf courses, are going to come out smelling like a rose in this.
Yeah, that is for sure. I mentioned Jimmy Dunn earlier on, and just to touch a little bit on him, he's just a big time golf guy. He's been in golf for a long time. He's a member at a lot of some of the most exclusive clubs out there. He's a member at Augusta, a member at Pine Valley. He's a member down there at Seminole in Juneau, Florida, which is a really, really high end club. So what he did is he was asked to come on last year as an independent director of the PGA Tour's policy board, and he was kind of tasked by Jay Monahan and all that to kind of stop players from leaving to the LIV or amateur golfers from going right from amateur golf to LIV. But he did play a huge role in bringing the PGA Tour and Saudi Arabia's PIF together, despite the fact that he was very anti-live and had to be anti-live based on what he was paying. So he was the one that really was having the meetings with Yasir. I don't know how to pronounce the last one. Al Ramayan. We'll go with that. But he was the one that was kind of had all these meetings with him behind the scenes, and he's actually the one that told Rory that this announcement was coming up, not Jay Monahan. And what's kind of crazy is this is just kind of a random fact, but he went to play golf on September 11th instead of going to work in the South Tower of the World Trade Center, and lost a lot of friends and family that day. So he was trying to qualify for the U.S. Mid-Amateur, actually. So, he's definitely deep into this thing. But again, we always talk about, money trumps everything. And I think it's kind of where we're going with all this.
That's the golden rule.
Yep.
Who has the goal makes the rule. Yeah.
Well, it's just like any other professional sport. I mean, you look at the NFL, you look at the NBA. I mean, there's ties to all sorts of stuff that everybody labels as, controversial and all that stuff. But it's just how this big business works. But be interested to see what all shakes out, and I'm anxious just as a golf fan and being involved in golf. What is it going to look like going forward? Are we going to have teams? Are they all going to be competing in the same tournaments? Is there going to be different levels? Whatever it may be. But I guess that'll all we'll see what that happens when it comes out. I know we got our break coming up here at the top of the hour. When we get back, I want to jump in a little bit with Coach Manley here about the FSU National Championship Series against Oklahoma. If you know, they didn't get it done last night. It was 5-0, but we'll break it down just a little bit more. Maybe talk a little bit about the college baseball regionals, which start today. College baseball super regionals, which start today. And then at 12:20, we'll be joined again by Doc A, Steve Alexander. He's a big-time NBA writer, wrote for Roto World and NBC Sports for 22 years. Now he's currently a writer for ESPN. Get his breakdown of the game last night and his thoughts. I think this series has kind of bounced back and forth a little bit. Nuggets look good. Heat look good. Nuggets look good. So anxious to talk to him coming up at 12:20 on our show. But we've got our good song. Will be taking us to bringing us in here at the top of the hour. But you are listening to the Inside Drive live inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios. When we come back, it'll be the afternoon.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The tradition continues.
That ball is going to be out of here.
America's team plays here.
Bombs away.
The Atlanta Braves are back and making a statement.
Ronald Acuna just clobbered one to left.
Listen to Atlanta Braves baseball in a rich audio experience live on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Here comes the thunder.
Sponsored by Goldberg Kia, Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, Mid-South Lumber, Stormore Portable Buildings, and Brock Pest Control.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Thursday afternoon. The rest of the day, sunshine and 83 with a moderate breeze coming out of the west-southwest around 13 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly clear skies and a low near 76. Tomorrow, mostly sunny throughout the day with a likelihood of thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening and a high around 84. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Game days are always better at Dave & Buster's. That's because more TV inches, more food and drinks, more space, and more fun make the game we all know and love more special. Nothing beats seeing your favorite team take the field on the two 12-foot big screens or 26 75-inch TVs. Throw in the arcade experience and you've got a winning atmosphere that no other sports bar can deliver. Follow the fun at Dave & Buster's Panama City Beach on Facebook and Instagram. Eat, drink, play, and watch sports at Dave & Buster's.
Chuck was terrible at fishing. He spent many frustrating hours attempting to get results he saw from internet videos, aggravating trial and error fishing trips, and misguided advice from well-intended friends. Chuck is happy now with his newfound success after he visited Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, where we keep fishing fun, simple, and successful. See us soon at Bay Breeze Bait and Tackle, located directly off Highway 98 on the west end of Panama City Beach.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WTOT W271DM Mariana, WVLQ Port St. Joe, ESPN Northwest Florida. Coming in hot.
So hot.
It'll be a hot one. Really hot. Goddamn.
The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
It's that time of the day here in the Florida Panhandle. We switch from the morning to the afternoon. Always brought in. I always say we're the only radio show probably in the country that has afternoon delight bringing us into the afternoon. And everybody can, whatever afternoon delight means to them, I hope you're having some afternoon delight, whether it's whatever. We're not going to get into that because that could go down a slippery slope.
Well, it might just a nap.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Hey, and there's probably a lot of people that would love to take a nap right now, that's for sure. You are listening to The Inside Drive. I'm joined by Chris Kramer as it is Thursday, and every Thursday inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios is Kramer Day. And then we have local legend Coach Glenn Manley in studio with us today. We appreciate you joining us.
Thanks for the invite. I've listened to you guys and everything, so I go, hey, I can talk golf, but so
well,
I don't holler 4 anymore, holler 8 because it goes so far out there.
You're full of it. We've seen you out there playing golf. You're a very, very good golfer, and now that you're retired for the second time, hopefully we'll be able to see you out there.
Yes, I'm looking forward to
just a little bit more.
Ron, I listened to you, I think it was yesterday you were mentioning this, and I didn't know this, but the course opens at 6:30?
6 a.m.
6 a.m.
Yep. First tee time, 6 a.m. Yep.
Wow.
It's an early one. But
I mean, if you're playing fast, if it's just you and maybe another buddy out there playing, gosh, you could play the course and be done at 8.
I'm sure he's going to touch on. They probably own the course record for the fastest.
Coach Moon and I we tee off at 7, and if we had a good round, we're hitting it pretty good, then we'd be back by 9.
Yeah,
we'd be you're out
have some breakfast.
Around. But they accuse it. They always the cart guys always go, you guys played slow day. It's 9:15. So we were golf ball hunting.
Yep, hawking some balls out
there. But you can't beat Earl. Sure. He's got this humongous. I don't know how long that pole is for him to reach out there and get those golf balls.
Yep. But Earl's always passing out crackers and golf balls to everybody at the golf club, whether it's members, whether it's juniors, whether it's staff. Earl kind of is our patriarch out there.
I had his 2 sons at Jinx, so I go way back.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Earl the Pearl Bowles,
he's a great guy too.
Really good guy. Yeah. Very, very good golfer too in his heyday. He played on the senior tour
absolutely.
and.
Did he really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow,
he did. Yep. And,
I'll tell you one thing, too, is you cannot go out to your golf course without seeing the guys making the course better. They're always working. Sometimes we play so much, until last year.
In that time
we
of the
would
morning,
just pass. If they're on one hole, we'd just pass them and go, don't stop for us. We're going to go, and, it's not going to mess us up if you ride the lawnmower by. So that gives me an excuse. Why the lawnmower came by now. But no, those guys, they've made it immaculate. I really,
golf course right now, too, is in fantastic shape. So, best shape I've seen it in a long time.
And the greens are getting a little faster.
Oh yeah, we did our first verticut of the season yesterday. So when you verticut, that not only is going to make your greens smoother, but it's going to increase the speed too, because you're removing that thatch and taking that surface tension from the ball and the green off. So
it's good leadership, Ron.
That's all it is right there.
My favorite course though was always playing the Meadows.
Oh, I love the Meadows.
Yeah, because it had been there so long, you didn't have to hit it far. You just had to hit it straight.
Yeah, I always told people when they because people call all the time and said when we had to. What's the more difficult golf course? And I said, well, what kind of golfer are you? Because the Nicklaus course for a better golfer can be easier than the Meadows, although it's got a ton of water. It's a little more wide open. And I said, if you hit the ball a long way, but you don't hit it straight, so the Nicklaus course will be easier, but the Meadows course, that one always used to eat my lunch. Those tree lines were so tight. It was crazy.
When I was coaching golf, I used to tell my guys, don't hit any kind of wood off the tee box. You hit an iron, because if you hit it too far, you're swimming.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you guys probably won a lot of matches because people coming out and never played the golf course before is tough. Your boy Fred Biondi is now 6 under through 15 holes.
Right.
Coach, I wish you'd have taught me into playing golf back in high school.
Well,
I'd be a bogey golfer a long time before now.
They didn't need anybody to fill the golf team.
Plenty of golfers.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Don Walton on Facebook says, Christy and the cart girls make his game better.
Oh, yeah. Christy, Desi, Tammy, our cart girls have been there. Some of them have been there for it all. Yeah. Christy's been there for 15 years, and she does a wonderful job.
I had one female golfer on my team when I was the golf coach. So I couldn't get them to come out, but I had Elizabeth Casey, and she actually played on the men's team she played either 3 or 4 for 4 years, and then she would have to go to the girls' district.
Yep.
And play, and so she got a golf scholarship 2 places. And I think she has her card too now. I'm not sure.
That's awesome.
I think we've got a good group coming up that are our kids.
Yeah, really good.
They're taking lessons. They're playing in tournaments and doing it on their own. Really,
that's a good thing. That you do 2 good things. The first tee and the things you do, but the one you do on Tuesday.
Yeah, the Florida Panhandle Golf Therapy Alliance.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, you guys. To get some kind of a medal for that, because
we should just get a medal for putting up with Tip. But no, they've done a great job of that, and really big kudos to Jay on that one, because he's dove in hard, and he's been the instructor for the vets and also the Special Olympians every afternoon on Tuesdays as well. So
the kids respond well to Jay.
Yeah,
and he makes it competitive and fun, and they enjoy coming out, and it's been a really good experience for mine out there.
Yeah, and we're so glad, even though he ditched me this week, which is fine, because it's probably been a little more, I'm not going to say fun, we've been a little more intelligence in the studio all week, but I don't know if he's listening. I hope he's listening too. But Jay was with us before the hurricane, and then when the hurricane happened, he had to go somewhere where he could teach and make money, because the Nicholas course, I think we were closed for about 6 months, and then got it back open, and we're lucky to have him come back down. He was in the Atlanta area since that time, came back down to February of last year.
He is now going to be the golf coach again.
He's running it back at Bay.
Nice. He said he wanted to come back.
Yeah, so he was the Bay High golf coach last year.
Yeah, so
nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, we're proud to announce he's coming back. So
awesome. He does. He's just like you said, Chris. He makes it fun, and he makes the kids want to be there.
Yeah,
and that's the name of the game. If your kid doesn't want to be there, especially when it comes to golf, that's not one of those sports you can go out there and fake it a little bit, and you got to be wanting to be there and all in and all that. So yeah, big kudos to he driving those junior golfers. That's the future of our business, the future of the game, and really with all this PIF stuff going on, there could be some serious opportunities to make a lot of money. A lot of golf scholarships out there, especially on the girls' side.
Absolutely.
Lots of open scholarships to get out there, and you may not be at a Florida State or a Duke or a Stanford, but there's so many other schools that are offering full rides to come play golf and get your education paid for.
And there's a lot of junior colleges out there that are looking for players too, and not just the Division I or the 4-year schools. And then you go from there, and they play in the same kind of tournaments.
Yep.
And then you get picked up by a 4-year school. So Liz did that. She went to Rend Lake up there in Illinois. Then she went to Arkansas State, and then she got her master's degree. She was, student.
Real quick, we got another caller on the line, but I do want to touch on this before. I was looking at the Korn Ferry Tour leaderboard because I was following Fred Biondi, who's now 7 under par, tied for 4th. But your leader, Michael Fiegels, shot 59. Another 59 on tour happened today. Shot 30-29, birdied his last 5 holes to shoot that 59. But we do have a caller on the line. Rodney, are you out there?
Yes, I am out here.
Rodney. What's up, Rodney?
I know that.
Everybody knows this voice.
I know, yeah. I went by my government name. I was hoping to take it off. I was gonna come in and defend Jay and just throw everybody for a loop, but never mind. I've been outed.
You would have had to completely change your voice. You're too recognizable.
I know it's awful. I went to D.C. yesterday to get some of that 1980s, early 90s smog, man. Sucked it all in and brought it back with me.
Those wildfires are crazy. That is for sure.
I was a little upset. I was hoping to catch the Nationals game, and they canceled it. Or actually, they let the Nationals play, but for some reason, the city wasn't letting people outside to play sports and stuff. So I was like, why would I go to a game if the city's shutting down? But the players played, so it's kind of weird.
That is weird. That is for sure.
I think I heard you guys mention, was it Deli Cruz earlier?
Yes, because I think it was on Tuesday as the Live News broke. We were talking about it all show, and then Adam Goff, who joins the Afternoon Underdogs on Friday, he called in saying he was debuting that night and talking about how that was really the biggest story in sports that day. I, of course, beg to differ, but, man, he's off to a hot start.
Yeah, I had a clip I should have sent you, man. one, I didn't do my full research. I didn't know he was a switch hitter. So when I saw him move to the other side of the plate, I was like, this dude's a transformer. Like, this is a problem. But I have a clip of him at I think AA or AAA. He hit a home run, man, that when you talk about taking the air out of a game, like, he hit it so hard and so far, the commentator was speechless. The pitcher just asked for a ball. The guy didn't even run in the outfield. Like, everybody just froze. And it was a missile. And I didn't know he was that fast either. But, I mean, honestly, like I said, I think I'm just going to run with him being a transformer. He's incredible. Just off debut. Just incredible.
Do you think he's the next big thing in Major League Baseball?
Man, Major League Baseball has such an opportunity to really be popular amongst kids nowadays. I don't think they realize it, but yeah, I think he's the next big thing. I don't know why we keep getting 6'7" shortstops, but I'm sure people like the Dodgers appreciate the 6'7" people being on the infield instead of the outfield, because Aaron Judge broke their fence. I don't know if you guys saw that. He ran into
and he's on the I think he's on the injured. I know that's the 3-day deal, whatever it is. I think he's injured now because of that. But
he would have hit that anyway, man. That's how the Yankees do.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. When these 6'7" shortstops can run as fast as they are, that's when it's a scary thing. You know, we've seen it in football, and you've seen it in all these other, and you're really starting to see it in baseball now. Just these huge guys that can run like the wind, just crazy. But people are talking about baseball because of him. It's he's having that impact already. And did you see when he hit that home run yesterday? Threw his bat down almost into the guy coming up next.
Yeah,
he was pumped up.
I love the energy that he brought to the Reds in general and to the game. And all the young guys kind of do that when they come in. But one thing I've noticed about these 6'7" guys is their approach at the plate is totally different than what this last generation of guys were doing. A lot of people like the Gallos and stuff, they were bigger players, but they were all about launch angle. And it seems like these guys have a more traditional approach of protecting the plate. So they have more range. Like when he was being a switch hitter, that pitch he hit out when he was batting left-handed, that probably jams 99% of left-handed pitchers. It's mid-90s, upper end, and he just stroked it. And that's what you see from somebody like Bryce Harper, who's an elite left-handed hitter. But the more the guys who came in this last maybe 6 or 7 years, they've all been big launch angle guys, and they strike out on that pitch.
Yeah, and I mean, did he hit his triple from the left side too, or did he hit that from the right side?
The triple was left side, and I bet Great American Ballpark a ton because it's very hitter friendly, and I would say I might have seen a triple in that spot maybe twice, and one of those guys was probably Buxton, who is super fast, and this is a throwback name, but they used to have a little fast center fielder. All he did was run fast, but he got there too, and I'll text you the name later when I remember it. But
that was good.
It doesn't happen often, honestly. I think it was Gordon, or I'll remember it later. But anyway, the center fielder for the Reds, Billy Gordon or something like that.
Oh, Billy Hamilton.
There you go, Billy Hamilton. There you go. Yeah. So he could get a triple there. And he probably used to, because like I said, I don't see many triples at that ballpark in that alley. And he one-hopped it to the fence. It wasn't like it rolled.
So with De La Cruz on there, do you think the Reds now are a contender to win that NL Central?
Heck no. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. And I'll tell you what, you know who was the biggest gem outside of, because everybody knew Deli Cruz was going to be nice or had the potential, but they debuted a guy a couple of days ago, a pitcher from UVA, which is down the street from me basically, but he was a second-round pick, and I forgot his name, but he's one of those guys who doesn't throw very hard, but he knows how to pitch. And it was a masterclass on painting the corner and just pitching to your strength. And I think he makes them dangerous because I don't think anybody expected much out of him. And they've already got a stud like ace in the making in Hunter Green. He's just got to get through the lumps that you have when you're, in your second year of pitching in the major leagues. You got to come up with another pitch. And I think some people forget that. I mean, Greg Maddux, Glavine, all the greats talked about that. I think Randy Johnson might be the only exception to that rule of not having to find a quote-unquote third pitch. But yeah, Hunter Green throws upper 90s, man. Has a changeup that's like low 90s, but then just the most filthy bender in the like mid 80s. So if he throws you a 98 mile per hour fastball and the arm motion doesn't change much, and he hits you with that like mid 80 slider, it's like your meat. So he's learning and he's developing. He had a good game till he got hurt the other day, and that's kind of been his thing. He's just got to stay healthy.
What do you think? Pivoting completely different sport, golf. Your boy Aaron. I think it's Rye. Is it Rye?
Yeah,
Is that how you
Aaron
pronounce
Rye,
it?
baby.
He
broke it.
Birdied his second hole and then went double bogey to get to +3. And I know you were. And I'm so bummed about this. Had a matchup bet between him and Eric Cole, and when they both were basically through 9 holes, I was like, this is looking good. Guy's 3 over through 5, ends up shooting 67 after he makes 7 birdies coming in on that. So he's currently leading the tournament.
Yeah, I know you guys think I'm crazy, but I sent him the same text I sent Adam Hadwin after he shot 7 over, and I think it worked.
So we basically need you to your motivational text services when golfers are down need to come directly from you.
Let's ask him the same question you asked us.
Yeah, the Live.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it a little bit earlier this week, but just real quick, Alan, you think good for golf or bad for golf, this entire merger? And golf as a whole, I'm kind of lumping that in, professional golf as well as, golf on a recreational aspect on the business side of it.
I think golf as a whole is great because it's going to open up the opportunity for people who typically would have been put in a position where they have to pick a side. And I think that's great for the game. Like, you don't have to be Team Live or Team PGA anymore. You could just play golf, and that's great. But, my stance will always be the same when it comes to those PGA loyalists, the professionals, that it still stings, man. I don't think I'm personally going to ever get over that, and I don't know how they will either. But anytime you can essentially create a global brand for a sport, I think it's always to the betterment of said sport.
25 years from now, the Saudis could be running every professional sport in the world.
I mean, honestly, they probably do from behind the scenes.
Yeah, you're right.
Money makes the world go round, man. I would not be shocked. All the conspiracy theories people put on the government, I really believe that stuff for sports. I don't believe it for the government, but I'm pretty sure there's some man behind the curtain. There's a Bezos somewhere pushing that Buffalo Wild Wings button, making my guys lose bet.
That's right. I'm going to need you to go ahead and miss this 3-foot putt, if you would.
Yep.
One more quick thing, Alan, before we got Doc A coming up here on our next break to talk about the NBA Finals. They were filming, I don't know if you ever saw The Full Swing, the first one. I didn't have a chance to. I don't have Netflix, but they were filming season 2 of The Full Swing when this news broke. So a lot of these players that next season that comes out were getting the news on their phones while they were filming.
You want to throw some conspiracy theory out there?
Yes.
I mean, wrap it up and do, hey, they just so happen to be in a documentary.
Yeah, just so happened to be when that news particular broke. Netflix involved with the Saudis. There you go.
Yeah, right. I mean, honestly, we're in the age of information, and you're telling me that this took place between 2 people and nobody knew?
Yeah.
Like, that to me was the most baffling thing. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, you can't keep a secret from anything or anybody.
It's becoming more like reality TV.
Yes.
Let's put them all together and just see what happens.
My son's classmate told him about the Tooth Fairy, and my son Googled it and was like, it's not real. Like, you can't keep a secret anymore.
What do you mean, the Tooth Fairy's not real, Alan? What the hell? You just broke that for me?
My son was like, hold on, man. Checking my tablet. That ain't true.
Hey, you got to believe in the spirit. You got to
like the Easter Beagle, right?
The Easter Beagle.
I don't believe it, and there won't be any money under the pillow. That's for sure. So you better believe it.
That's how that works,
man. Yeah. I was cool with it.
That's true. 20 years ago, it was a quarter. Now it's like $5-10. You can pay for. You're losing to be able to pay for the braces.
As you get older, it gets a lot more expensive. When your teeth go.
You'd be a poor skeptic.
Yes, there you go. Hey, Alan, Rodney, thank you for calling in today. We appreciate that, and I'm sure we'll talk soon. We got Doc A coming up here at the end of our next break. You are listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd. Shaq left, they're fine. LeBron left, they're fine. D-Wade left, they're fine. It's the basketball franchise in the star-driven sport. In the star-dependent sport, it's that culture, not the Patriots, that survived the loss of great stars.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays, ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Thursday afternoon. The rest of the day, sunshine and 83 with a moderate breeze coming out of the west-southwest around 13 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly clear skies and a low near 76. Tomorrow, mostly sunny throughout the day with a likelihood of thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening and a high around 84. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
The new Smokin' Triple Stack at Firehouse Subs is stacked high with honey ham, smoked turkey, and slow-smoked beef brisket. To top it off, a portion of every purchase helps provide life-saving equipment to first responders. The Smokin' Triple Stack Sub. Get it for a limited time, only at Firehouse Subs. Participating U.S. locations. Firehouse of America, LLC, and Firehouse Subs suppliers together will donate 0.09% of purchases in 2023 at Firehouse Subs locations to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation for the purchase of life-saving equipment with a minimum donation of $1 million.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
You hear it first. Sports talk right now. Back to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
I know it seems a bit overwhelming at first.
Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
Something makes me think you'll get used to it.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive. David shaking his head behind the glass, and probably, Jay's not here, so we can't pump the Genuine. We only play Pony when he's here. That's for sure.
I was looking for something, and then I ran out of time, so I was like, well, let's go with this one, see what it is, and I was disappointed.
Hey, that worked out just fine. Like we always say, you do a fantastic job behind the glass. You bring the heat with the music and the intros and the outros, but then don't forget, we do have 3 great local shows here on ESPN Northwest Florida. You've got the Coach James Hale Show from 7 to 9 every morning, and Dr. Manley's on that still every Wednesday?
Every Wednesday
morning. You got Dr. Ward, the Florida Gator, and you got you, the Florida Seminole. So, and then you can listen to the Inside Drive from inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios. And like Chris says, the best place to listen to that is inside a brand new Chevrolet.
There you go.
Right. Or a brand new CRI boat. Because you can get the radio on those too, so you can do both.
Just tune in, FM. Let's roll.
And then you got the Afternoon Underdogs, hosted by David Hayes every afternoon from 4 to 6 p.m.
I got to give a shout out to David. He cut his teeth on being with me and Coach Hale. So.
And the fact that he's still working in radio is a miracle.
Yeah, he hadn't had to have therapy, so I think that's pretty good. So he did a great job for us. So.
Clearly great at editing.
A lot.
Yes, edited, absolutely.
And muting political rants. But the NBA Championship, NBA Finals are going on. Last night you had the pivotal Game 3, and we're excited to be joined by, again, Steve Alexander, Doc A, writer for Roto World and NBC Sports for over 20 years, currently a writer and contributor to ESPN. Doc A, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Want to ask you a quick question first, unrelated to NBA, and you probably know what the question's going to be because it's one of the.
Is it going to be live related?
Most likely, live or PGA Tour related. Just want to get your thoughts real quick on that. Obviously, the sports world took a big nuke earlier this week with the behind the scenes merger being announced and all that. So I'll ask you the same question I asked everybody today: good or bad for golf?
Well,
or what are your thoughts on it? I guess instead of just the straight up question.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good question. I think the fact that we're going to have everybody under one umbrella is a good thing in the end. I think the way they got there and the fact that Tiger and Rory basically put their lives on the line. They didn't really put their lives on the line, but they put their, they really went to bat for the PGA Tour and put it all out there. And for them just to turn around and say, never mind, we're gonna go ahead and join forces with the enemy. It's pretty weird. I mean, Rory and Tiger I can't even imagine what they said when they heard. I mean, it had to be surreal for them. Like, what? Wait, what? This didn't really just happen. But, I think as a golf fan, I'd rather have everybody playing together. But I just can't believe how it happened.
Yeah, just very bizarre. And Tiger, I'm assuming he cares and was probably, but his $1.1 billion net worth may make that blow just a little bit softer. Maybe not so much for Rory because he's been kind of the face of this controversy, for lack of a better term. But last night, the pivotal Game 3, I'm going to say more what we thought Game 2 probably would have looked like, very similar to Game 1. And, records last night with Jokic and Murray both having triple-doubles as the Heat or the Nuggets got out kind of to a lead there, got a little more than halfway through the game and didn't look back. So thoughts on Game 3 and where do we go from here?
Yeah, I mean, Denver's the best team in these playoffs. I retweeted something from NOLA Analytics a couple minutes ago, right before we came on, and it says after last night, the Nuggets are 4-3 in the playoffs when they shoot a lower 3-point percentage than their opponent. So they have a winning record when they shoot worse from three than their opponent. The rest of the NBA combined is 15, 59, and 1. So teams that shoot worse from three than their opponent lose almost, what is it, 70% of the time.
Yeah.
And then he says the Denver playoff offense is the best we've seen since the KD Warriors. It's essentially bulletproof. And that's sort of how I feel about it, too. Now, I told you guys in the car the other day that I was going to lose all my money and keep betting on Michael Porter Jr. to do something, and once again, he did nothing. I may have to get off the MPJ bandwagon. So that's good news for your listeners, because if I'm not going to mess with putting money on MPJ, that probably means he's going to go off tomorrow night.
Yeah, so this would be because I had a little point parlay last night myself, and Michael Porter Jr. was in that parlay and then put up the 2 points. That was very exciting.
Yeah, sorry about that, man.
No, it's not on you. I'm the one that clicked the button.
Yeah, but I don't know what he's doing. He's not involved. You remember the Game 1? I think he had 14 points and 13 rebounds or something. He was getting a lot of boards, and he was being aggressive. He was shooting the ball a lot, and now it's all Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. is just sort of standing out there behind the three-point line watching Jamal Murray and Jokic go off.
Yeah, that's certainly what it looked like last night, that's for sure. So where do the Heat...
So, yeah,
Go ahead, sorry.
Well, no, where do the Heat go from here?
Yeah, where do the Heat go from here? I mean, they obviously know you have to win Game 4 at home. Series is going to be tough from here on out. But if they lose tomorrow night? Today's the only one game off break in the series, if I recall correctly. Not looking at it in front of me, but yeah, they obviously have to make something happen at home tomorrow night. And what kind of adjustments does that look like, if any, can be made? If Murray and Jokic play like they played last night, I don't know what you do to really stop the team.
I don't know what you do to stop them either, because the one game that Denver lost, Jokic didn't have a great fourth quarter, and they just dominated last night. They dominated last night to the point where my buddy was over here watching the game with me, and he's like, I think I'm going to go home. I shut it down at the start of the fourth quarter and just left, and I kind of like started doing other things because it was over. Now, Miami Heat, as we keep saying, I think Coach Spoelstra is probably the best. He's one of the best coaches in the league. Been in Miami forever. Knows how to. He made adjustments for Game 2, and it worked. Then Malone made adjustments for Game 3, and they blew Miami out of the gym. So we talked about the other day that Game 3 was pivotal, and Game 3, the winner of Game 3 is going to win the series. So to me, it's pretty much over. They still need to. Denver needs to win Game 4. The Heat need to not lose Game 4. It's as must win as things get for Miami, and it just kind of feels like the writing's on the wall. Like, even if Miami makes adjustments and hangs in there and slows Jokic down, I still feel like it's going to be a grinding, slow-paced game, and that Denver's going to be right there in it at the end and still have a chance to win. So I just don't see Denver losing another game in the series.
Yeah, and that's bad news for Miami fans and the Miami sports world in general. Although it's kind of been on fire down there, obviously with the Heat on the run that they're on. The Panthers are in a little bit of a hole against the Vegas Knights, and then the announcement yesterday with Messi going to Inter Miami to play some MLS soccer down there. So I don't know if the U will ever be able to catch up in ACC football, but that is yet to be seen. Yet to be seen.
Yeah, that Messi news is crazy, right? Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw, completely off NBA topic, but they halted ticket sales for the game coming up in July. Before the announcement, they were selling for like $29 a ticket. Messi makes the announcements. They reopened the ticket sales. I think the average price was like $423 a ticket. That just goes to show you that certain people move the needle, and that's why they get paid hundreds of millions of dollars to come play on these sports teams, because the money to be made because of that particular figure is certainly there. That's for sure.
What's the NBA fan base like in Panama City? Are they Orlando Magic fans? Are they Miami Heat fans? Are they Atlanta fans? What's going on?
I think they're Alabama fans.
Yeah. Yes. That is about as blunt as you can put it. Yeah, you've got I know a lot of guys I play adult flag football with, big time NBA fans, a lot of Heat fans, a lot of basketball fans in general. But yeah, Panama City Beach itself is not really a big time pro market. It's a huge college market with FSU just down the road. Like Chris just said, everybody and their uncle seems to be an Alabama fan, regardless if they went there or knew somebody that went there. Auburn,
or dated their sister,
or dated their sister. Coach Manley said that, not me. He's an Auburn alum, or Auburn big Auburn fan.
You can still be brother and sister after the divorce.
That is a true fact. That is a true fact. So we got to
get invited to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, yes, depending on where it is. But yeah, a lot of LSU presence over here as well, because when Hurricane Katrina happened in New Orleans, a lot of people came to this area. So definitely not as big of a pro market. Now, big Braves country, obviously, as we are the affiliate of the Atlanta Braves here on ESPN Northwest Florida. But yeah, that's a good question. I would probably say that, it's where you move from that you're still a fan of, most likely, because we have a huge local base, but a lot of people have moved here from elsewhere, being in the state of Florida. So a lot of people will carry that pro sports, whatever team you like, with them.
I like the Alabama answer. That's pretty funny. I feel that way sometimes. It's true. Being in Georgia, everybody, it's either Georgia or it's Alabama. And actually, John Hutterback, my buddy that I play golf with the most, he's got 2 kids that are Alabama graduates. So I hear a lot of Alabama chatter out of him as well.
And George is the same way down here. It's you're either pretty much FSU, Georgia, or Alabama. There is a lot of Auburn people down here as well. They're just not as vocal because as an Auburn fan myself,
we're LA.
We're
lower Alabama.
Yeah, we are lower Alabama. That is for sure. That is for sure. No doubt. But yeah, no. So not a whole lot really to discuss too much about the game last night. It kind of is what it is, but Miami's going to have to find a way to get something done in Game 4. That series might as well be over.
But you won't see parades down Harrison Avenue if the Heat win.
No.
Or if the Dolphins won a Super Bowl.
No.
That's just not that. Maybe if Jacksonville did, you'd be.
Yeah, you do. And
this area really didn't have anything other than Atlanta sports. We're Alabama mostly and some South Georgia, but growing up, it came out of Atlanta. Yeah. And whoever you pulled for was in Atlanta. Maybe a little bit of New Orleans, maybe a little bit of Tampa, but we didn't really have. We had the Magic were kind of coming up. I don't think New Orleans had a basketball team.
No, not back then.
When I was growing up.
Oh yeah, it's
interesting because I grew up in Indianapolis, and we didn't have. That was before the Colts were there. We didn't have. We just had AAA baseball, so we just had the Pacers and the Indy 500, and that's the cool thing about Atlanta when we were growing up is the Superstation. You could watch the Cubs or you could watch the Braves or you could watch both. And so my brother is a Cubs fan, I'm a Braves fan, and I have a feeling that's sort of how it was in North Florida too. It was like you can watch one of those two teams, and chances are, as an adult, those one of those is your team.
Mm-hmm. No, that's so true, especially with how much sports has changed from 30 years ago to now. I mean, you can literally find any sporting event if you have ESPN Plus. If you want to find any sporting event out there to watch, whether it's college lacrosse or watch field hockey on ESPN Plus. And back then there was only certain things on certain times of the day that in college football games, you'd have I think I heard y'all talking about it yesterday. Notre Dame, USC. Alabama, so that's all you could really find on TV, and you couldn't go search up stuff except looking on a newspaper. So you really didn't have a lot of options unless you were kind of born into it.
Go back to the day we only had 3 channels. You definitely.
I don't remember that.
Well, you probably don't ever remember black and white TV.
Yeah, that the grandpa comment earlier is certainly
or the TV stations going off at midnight.
Just dead air. Yeah, no, that doesn't happen anymore. That's for sure. But
the national anthem at midnight.
Yep,
shut it down.
Yes, sir.
No, that's good stuff.
We had some White Sox. It seemed like there were some White Sox games available, and I think it's the connection. Chicago
straight shot.
Is this? That's back in the day. Panama City was named Panama City because of the direct shot to the Panama Canal out of Chicago. And so, in fact, the White Sox had a minor league team in Panama City.
I remember you were telling me about that. Yeah, that's crazy.
I remember there being some opportunity to watch the White Sox and the Braves.
And the Cubbies on WGN.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Braves were on TBS, the Cubs were on WGN, and you had these quote-unquote monopolies on these news stations or stations for these particular sports.
Yep, I'm going back again, but my grandmother in rural Alabama would go to sleep with the Cardinals game on the radio. She would listen to those, so, being a young child. But
Stan Musial played for the Cardinals?
He did.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
That my grandmother... Same thing. Grandfather, big Stan Musial fans. That must have been one.
Grandmother could name the starting lineup. That was unbelievable. You're a little kid. She's going, "Oh, let me tell you about so and so." And I was like,
just hearing it, getting ingrained in there.
Right.
Hey, Steve, we got another break coming up. Hopefully we'll talk to you one more time. Maybe the Heat will get the win tomorrow night and make some things interesting. But if I don't think they get that win, I don't know what's next there. Just getting in the way of the Nuggets winning their first ever NBA championship. So, again, appreciate you. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was pleased to be part of Grandpa Hour. Good time.
It's Kramer Day, all right? It can't be Grandpa Hour.
Yeah. Only when Coach Manley's here.
I'm a grandpa myself, so I get it. All right, man. Well, I got my big Ryder Cup tournament this weekend at the golf club. So,
that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Wish me well.
Yes, good luck.
Okay.
Just make them make the 1 foot putt and then and go from there and see what happens.
Vaseline on your cheek and wipe it on the club face, and you won't get as much spin as you think.
There you go. Wise words of wisdom from Coach Manley.
And cheating for the
Yeah. Steve, we appreciate you very, very much. And good luck in the Ryder Cup.
Thanks.
All right, y'all are listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Today is Kramer/Grandpa Day. So we might have to run this back again sometime when Mr. Henley's back. But, that's a badge of honor, That's not
trust me. I'm there.
I'm actually driving my dad's car as we speak. This is a really side note, and on the front tag it says Gucky because that's what his name is, World's Best Grandpa. So I'm riding that thing around in pride today. But you are listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Atlanta Braves play here.
Here comes the Thunder.
The weather is heating up, and so are the Braves.
And the Braves take the lead in the ninth.
Tonight, Atlanta versus New York. With Olsen, Strider, Ozzie, and Acuna. The Braves lineup will be loaded for Game 3. Coverage starts at 6. First pitch at 6:20. On your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The new Smokin' Triple Stack at Firehouse Subs is stacked high with honey ham, smoked turkey, and slow-smoked beef brisket. To top it off, a portion of every purchase helps provide life-saving equipment to first responders. The Smokin' Triple Stack Sub. Get it for a limited time, only at Firehouse Subs. Participating U.S. locations. Firehouse of America, LLC, and Firehouse Subs suppliers together will donate 0.09% of purchases in 2023 at Firehouse Subs locations to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation for the purchase of life-saving equipment with a minimum donation of $1 million.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
It's time for the 2023 Southern Lights Talent Event. We're looking for local artists, including singers, musicians, comedians, any family-friendly talent that wants to take their talent to the next level. $10,000 in cash, recording deals, Chipola scholarships, video specials, all going to talented people from all over the tri-state area. We're also looking for sponsors, people and businesses that want to support local artists and make an impact on their community. Auditions are going on right now, so check us out today at southernlights.cc.
Welcome to the Inside Drive, the next big thing.
It's a big, huge, giant deal.
Sports betting, huge reactions, your calls and real-time coverage of the stories you're following. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. It's Thursday. Somehow I survived the entire week. Almost. We're not done yet. Friday is tomorrow. Without Swing Doc Jay Henley in the house, but we are inside the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. You can listen live and local on 104.3 in Panama City and 101.9 along the Forgotten Coast. If you didn't have it, obviously if you're listening, but you can always watch us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and that doesn't have to be live because it lives in infamy. And Kramer Day / Grandpa Day today will be out there for all the people to go back and watch if they choose to do so. Didn't mention South Oak Title in closing today. Excited to have Crystal Whiteley and her son Jordan Whiteley in studio with me tomorrow. Jordan is a redshirt redshirt freshman, I believe, so he'll be going into his I think his third year at or maybe his second year. Anyway, we'll talk to him tomorrow. He played at Mosley High School. He was a linebacker when they had that deep run into the state championship. He now plays at South Alabama. And Crystal is a title agent over there at South Oak Title and Closing. They've got locations in Panama City Beach, Destin, 30A, as well as up there on 77 in Lynn Haven. The cool thing about South, all title fees are virtually the same as the ad says on the radio, so you might as well go where they're friendly, smart, get the process done, and their offices are absolutely beautiful. But excited to talk to both of them in studio tomorrow. Again, Chris Kramer Day. You can visit them at 2251 West 23rd Street. Lots of new vehicles in stock. They're all just awesome. The Colorado Canyon you were talking about with the new display and all that, it's got to be pretty cool. And it is boating season, so if your boat, you went out there this past weekend, had some engine trouble or whatever it may be, and you need to get back out on the water ASAP, you've got to go to Kramer Marine and Outdoor. They have Yamaha Master Certified Mechanics on staff, Yamaha and Suzuki outboard dealer, Seabourn, Spider, and Sundance, the CRI family of boats. And I even saw yesterday you guys were getting somebody hooked up with some power poles.
Yeah, absolutely. And on top of all of that, we are a Yamaha Power Products dealer as well.
There you
go.
go.
We can get generators, small ones, big ones, whether you're powering almost your house or you're just powering a camper, and water pumps. And big water pump, 2-inch, 3-inch, 4-inch, and submersible water pumps, all Yamaha. And we've got some 2-inch water pumps in stock right now. We just got them in. We've got some submersibles coming in.
Well, and that's the fact that she said that, sometimes at Bay Point, when we get heavy rains or a tropical storm, there's a couple areas on the golf course that we do have to move some water around because they're not connected to the overall drainage system of the ponds.
Let me know where to drop some off.
Yeah, absolutely. So we may be reaching out for that kind of stuff. You got to move water quick, and those 2 or 3 inch pumps can make that water move very, very fast. That is for sure. FSU softball, the College World Series Championship Series got underway last night after 2 delays.
Yes.
The first delay didn't get the first pitch until 8:10, and then I think it was like just a couple minutes into that first inning.
Bottom of the first.
Bottom of the first.
Second batter up, and then they called him off again. So I think the weather affected the lady behind the plate too. But I tell you what, though, when you play Oklahoma, there's no let up in the lineup. So if you make one little mistake, and it didn't happen until like the third or fourth inning, and they hit that double, and it kind of started. So they kind of ignited. If you watched last night, I think FSU just did not hit like they normally do, but that could be attributed to the young lady that was pitching, who is she's really.
Yeah, Jordy Ball, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 10 strikeouts, 1 walk.
Right.
.92 ERA.
Yeah. And then the other thing too is 53 games in a row now, so they've got that behind them, and that's not pressure on them. They thrive for this, and
they think they're going to win before they even take the field.
That confidence helps. But you know what? We can try again. But they're a juggernaut right now. The only thing I don't like is I like the venue where it's played, but until you beat Oklahoma out of there, then it's 19 miles from Norman to Oklahoma City. 26-minute drive, so they're sleeping in their beds and wherever they do their thing, and definitely the home crowd is there. So
yeah,
but until you move them out of that spot, that's just like when Omaha. If but not many teams from Nebraska get in there, but every once in a while they do. But but it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a good game, and then if you. After you start that, if you're not satisfied with that, there's plenty of baseball games going on
excited
tonight.
About that.
Yeah, so anyway.
Do you think tonight on the mound, they didn't pitch Catherine Sandercock last night? They made the decision
they may have to start her out of necessity because, you need this win. Otherwise,
win or go home at this point.
So,
Leonard had 3 innings pitched and started off really well, like you said, but then they just kind of broke it open. We were talking about some of the players to watch yesterday, previewing the game, and I think they've got 3 or 4 players that all have over 400 batting averages.
Right. They 2 or 3 All-Americans, and you can so yeah. But it's going to be a great game. Hats off to FSU for being there. Last year they got upset in the region. So they could have been there 3 years in a row.
Yeah, I think they've made 5 out of the last 6 championship series, and they beat Oklahoma in 2018 when they won that College World Series. And
then in 2021, they beat them the first game. I think they made them mad, and so they came back and won the next two. But the second game was close, but then the third game was like last night,
Getting down to that pitchers.
I don't know if you guys did this yesterday or not, but I have to go back being a veteran. Yesterday was D-Day.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so but I just, hearts out. I sent out several of those thank you for your service medals to some of my buddies, and so
nice.
It's just that's the generation that tough,
Gotta remember.
Yeah, and okay, I'm not going to sign up to be in the military. I'm going to sign up to go to war.
Yeah,
I mean that's just the
big difference.
Yeah, it is
big difference. And thank you and my dad as well, Vietnam vets, and appreciate your service. Another group of people that were certainly not honored and treated like y'all should have been when you came back.
That could have been the only time I was glad I was short. Didn't have to dig so far to get in. Or you could hide behind logs. Stuff like that.
There you go.
But but I just wanted to, remember those people. My dad was in World War II, and he came in 2 days after Normandy, and he was in charge of firing an 88 millimeter cannon, and so every time you talk to him when he got home, he'd go, "What?
Yeah.
What did you say?" But we didn't really talk much about the difference in his and mine, but we did. I had a lot more respect for my dad that I had before. I really, appreciate everything he did for me. But then when I found out what they went through, and then so it's unbelievable. And he didn't talk much either. So they just said that's the way it is. That's what you do.
Yep. So, totally different feelings and
it
stuff.
It is
that time to what we're living with.
Randy, I'm not going to get political. I'll just stay with this.
We did. I wanted to make sure I mentioned that yesterday. The 156,000 Allied troops that landed on the various beaches in the Operation Overlord, which went on to eventually end the Nazi regime and take Hitler out of power over there, freeing all the Polish and the Jewish, and just a crazy. But it's so important, and I talk to the kids about this stuff, and that's University Academy, Holy Nativity, a lot of these schools, they do a great job still talking about history, because you're seeing that getting out of our curriculum a little bit, and we can't let that happen.
I don't see the younger generation now appreciating it as much. I think they take a lot of things for granted, and I'll try to come up with composure. It's just what a great country, and if you don't think it is, go to another one and see what happens.
Absolutely.
But we do have our faults, but you know what? It's the greatest thing to be an American citizen.
There's no doubt about that, and we appreciate all the men and women that put their lives on the line and passed away. And when we had Memorial Day, we're kind of the same thing. We wouldn't be sitting in here on Kramer/Grandpa Day talking about live golf and PIF money and college baseball and Doc A and all that stuff. Wanted to note real quick, you were talking about our guys that work on the course and grounds team that make that golf course so beautiful. I did mention it yesterday on the show, but since she says I want to mention it again, Richard Morton, who had been with us for 6 or 7 years, he passed away early Monday morning.
Wow.
Not really sure what happened yet. Very, very sad and tragic. So just want to keep his family in our thoughts and prayers, as well as our Bay Point family, as Butch was just an awesome dude. You probably saw him out there many a morning, blowing stuff off, mowing grass, and just that's the thing about the Bay Point, especially the crew out there on the course and grounds team. We have got some of the guys that have been there for 30 years.
Right.
Willie Chambers, who retired, I think, last year, he had been there for 39 years on our course and grounds team.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And he's doing full-time as a pastor. Huge Florida State Seminole. Just an awesome dude. Really good group out there that we're very blessed to have, bringing that golf course to shape every day.
Makes part of the great team y'all have out there.
That's right. It's just the big Bay Point family. That's what we try to be, and usually when you have that family environment,
I need to ask Chris if he's the brains or is the brother the brains of the outfit there.
Well, my brother certainly looks. So,
you definitely know where he is. That's for sure. You definitely know where. Although I saw y'all both in your Evil Knievel outfits on that behind-the-scenes advertisement. You guys do a great job with your ads.
So that was promoting the Holy Nativity School fishing tournament, which is coming up next month, July 21st and 22nd. But the proceeds, this is the 26th annual fishing tournament. But if you're interested in sponsoring, if you're interested in fishing as a team, look me up or look up the Holy Nativity Episcopal School and go fishing and support a good cause.
That's right. Absolutely.
It's a great place. My son went there long ago, so
been around for a long time.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Just real quick before we hit the break on to the Colin Cowherd show, you've got the Super Regionals starting today. As I mentioned, my Coastal Carolina Chanticleers couldn't come out of there as they lost the last game there to Duke and fought hard. But you've got the Winston-Salem Super Regional starting. It actually should be underway as we speak. I lied. That one starts tomorrow. Just kidding. At 11 o'clock our time, taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'll just get you all's thoughts on these real quick. We'll blow through them. We got about 2.5 minutes to go. So you got Alabama and Wake Forest. Wake Forest, #1 seed in the country, absolutely destroyed their regional with Northeastern Maryland and George Mason.
I'm going to say Wake Forest in 2.
I think that's there you go.
I knew what he was going to say. So
he's part of the.
It's kind of like him and
Alabama
James,
contingency down here.
Every survey James comes out with has Alabama in it. So
when you search the polls that end in Alabama being the best, it's easy.
Yeah.
He should just start creating his own polls. Oh God, another Alabama guy behind the glass. But college football season is going to be fun. That's for sure. I think Alabama's had a great season. They fought back and came out of that Tuscaloosa regional. But I think Wake Forest has just got too good of a baseball team. And then we'll move on to your Florida Gators facing the South Carolina Gamecocks. And are you going to the Super Regional? Because I know there's
Where is it?
It's in Gainesville.
Oh, really?
I know there's a lot of people from this area putting on their Florida caps and heading down to Gainesville this weekend to watch what should be an awesome series of baseball. But hosting the South Carolina Gamecocks in the Super Regional, obviously you're going to take Florida. What do you got, Coach?
I like Florida. I think that they get it done. Coach does a great job down there.
It's certainly a rivalry in football, but it has been in baseball the last 10 years as well. And 3 SEC teams in those first 2. I'm going to go with the Florida Gators on that one. I don't want to
all in agreement.
Upset the apple cart on that one.
Don't piss off the sponsors.
That's right.
There you go.
I wasn't born. Was it born on?
It's born at night. Yeah, not last night.
Yes, that's right. And then you've got the #9 national seed Stanford Cardinals taking on the Texas Longhorns in the Palo Alto Regional. Stanford advanced nicely through theirs. They did have to fight against Texas A&M, but what do you got in that one, Coach?
That's a long way up there. I don't know. I think Texas may take them, but I think it'll take 3. But the way Stanford's hitting, it's going to be it's a coin toss for me. I'm still going to go with Texas.
There you go.
I like Texas.
Texas there. I'm going to take Stanford just to be different on that one.
Don't mess with Texas.
That's right. Don't mess with Texas. They beat the Aggies to come out of that. And then you've got Duke, who came out of the Conway Regional, beating South Carolina in that final game, Coastal Carolina, taking on the Virginia Cavaliers up there in Charlottesville. What do you got, Coach?
I like Virginia. I think Virginia's just got it rolling right now.
What you got, Chris?
I'm a Tar Heel born, I'm a Tar Heel
so
bred.
He's not taking Duke.
I'm a Tar Heel dead, so it's Carolina. Go to heck, Duke. Can't pull for Duke. Sorry.
There you go. I'm actually going to take Duke in this one. I had got to watch a lot of Duke, obviously, and that pitcher that they had starting in that last game did a really good job, and their bats were I'm gonna take Duke upsetting that heading to the College World Series. We got to blow through these last 4 real quick. We'll just do one answer. Kentucky, LSU.
LSU.
Kentucky.
There you go. I'm going to go with Kentucky as well for Al, who works out at the golf club and is one of our marshals. And then you got a very surprising regional up there in Eugene, I think. You've got Oregon and Oral Roberts. We are coming up against our break. This one we can't push. This is the last one. It's been a great day today. Enjoyed having you all in the studio. Been Kramer Day. A lot of fun. You are listening to the Inside Drive. Afternoon Underdogs coming up at 4 p.m. this afternoon. Braves looking for the sweep against the Mets. You're listening to the Inside Drive. We'll see you tomorrow.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're taking the Inside Drive.
Jay, clam chowder. It's the clams.